Namaskaram, Namaskaram, and thank you. Thank you, Pooja, for the detailed introduction. I must thank ISTEM for this opportunity given to me to talk to the young engineers, entrepreneurs who wanted to establish themselves. I'm talking from an engineering college in Kerala where I am here for last 2 days for an orientation program for both diploma and BTech students. And I was telling them in the morning, it's great to be part of Engineers Day. I don't know where Pooja is from, which place. Pooja, you were talking about regional language, so I like to know which state you are from, which is your mother tongue, or father tongue, or other tongue.
My mother tongue is Hindi. It is a region in Uttarakhand, state of Uttarakhand in India.
So you generally speak Hindi, right?
Yes, sir. I can speak both the languages.
Okay. What's your mother tongue? What's your mother tongue?
Kumaoni we say.
Oh, okay. Uttaranchal. I had been to Uttaranchal. I had been to Himachal Pradesh. I had been to Hamirpur, NIT for Tech Fest. I've been traveling throughout India. If you look at for last 6 months, I have been to West Bengal. I have been to Punjab, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. I'm constantly on move. So wherever I travel, I keep seeing young, enthusiastic, energetic youth with a lot of enthusiasm, and especially people who are into engineering now. I don't think they just get into engineering because they wanted to get into probably business, entrepreneurship, understanding what can be done, how it can be used. I'm staying in Hyderabad for long years, so we have a great one of the engineers, or maybe you can call him as a medical practitioner, chemical engineer, or chemist. And there is a beautiful university in the coastal Andhra which is under his name, and he is called Nagarjuna University. I remember he defining science. The science is Sakshat Anubhava Drishto Na Sruto Na Guru Darshidaha Lokanam Upakaraya Etat Sarvam Pradarshitam, which is useful for human being, is what is called science. That science, when it is applied on the field, is what is engineering, where you can see something which happens practically is engineering. When you produced in large number, it's called technology. What is special about Mokshagundam Vishweshwaraya? I started my teaching and research in an institution which is named under the great Vishweshwaraya. I was there in the Vishweshwaraya College of Engineering in Bangalore. That stands in between the central Bangalore and very close to the Vidhana Saudha, the Legislative Assembly. The oldest college probably in South India, which is started by Vishweshwaraya himself. My room number was 310, where I stayed 3 years. I was teaching in Vishweshwaraya College of Engineering to the engineering students the complex analysis, differential equations, and etc. etc. Today I was recollecting my old memories about Vishweshwaraya, and I was telling one of the greatest strength of Vishweshwaraya was he lived 101 years. He took birth 103 years before my birth, 1860, September 15. So unforgettable. The contribution is not just in engineering. He was like a minister for the Mysore Palace. He was a divan for Mysore Palace. And like a divan, rarely we see engineers in a very strict, disciplined dress code. You cannot see Vishweshwaraya as a single picture without a turban on the head. So that great man with a lot of discipline in life, without discipline you cannot live 101 years. And discipline in every... There is a story I remember in my school days where we read about Vishweshwaraya, when people used to say the neighbors used to adjust their watch and correct their watches. Today we can correct it from listening to All India Radio or maybe TV or in the mobile phone. But those days when nothing was there, if your clock is running wrong, you cannot correct it by any other means. So people used to correct their clock by when the Vishweshwaraya crosses their house, they know this is the time. It was 2-minute accuracy. So a man who really well disciplined. We have got great yoga practice in India. Yama, non-violence. Second one is Niyama. Niyama is discipline. So Vishwesvaraya, Yama was non-violence. We had Mahatma Gandhi who lived with non-violence. So when we talk about Mahatma Gandhi, non-violence. When we talk about Vishwesvaraya, it is Niyama, the discipline which matters. So I'm so happy ISTEM decided to celebrate Engineers Day and so kind enough hosting me on this with my friends, references and all that. Engineering innovations for a more resilient world is the topic given to me. One of the most beautiful topic. Recently I finished writing a book which is called 3, 2, 1 World. It is not change, it is revolution. Because when change happens so fast, it is called revolution. Evolution happens very slow, revolution happens very fast. I don't think people talk about 21st century's education and all that. I stopped talking about 21st century education because it doesn't change in 100 years. It changes in every 10 years probably, much faster than 10 years. So maximum we should talk about the resilient world today is for me a 3, 2, 1 world, third decade of 21st century world. Where what is that we have to talk about? We have to talk about Internet of Things, we have to talk about augmented reality, artificial intelligence, fourth industrial revolution, 5G, and also we should talk about probably what can come tomorrow. So there is an exponential growth, and not even that, convergence of all the technologies, the connectivity of the whole world. It's the pace in which the technological development happens so rapid, you cannot even imagine. Before you learn the technique, a new technique comes in the world. Miniaturization. Earlier the gadget used to be big and data used to be small. Now we have got small machine and big data. The big data analytics, big data. So I keep saying, what is technology development? Technology development is when television was too fat, people were slim. And today television is slim and people became fat. So most of the technology makes people to be so lazy. Automation and robotics, I'm sure we cannot even imagine what is going to happen in automation tomorrow. Most of the work being done. We have got small restaurants in Kerala where the supply of the food is given by robots. We have got tables connected all through with a rail wherein the order is placed and the item comes to your table through a rail which is controlled by the analytics, the artificial intelligence, renewable energy, the space exploration. I am from space department. I have been with the space department for 20 years. I am sure long back when ISRO started a telemedicine program in which somebody can connect to a doctor who is far off, who is a very real expert. He can control the surgery, but actual surgery is done by a human. But today that can be mechanized so well. So medicine and healthcare, extreme change which unimaginably advanced. Environmental technologies, the virtual and augmented reality, biotechnology. Earlier microbiology was famous, when we can see up to 10 power minus 6, micro is 10 power minus 6. When we are able to see 10 power minus 9 the detail, nanotechnology came. So microbiology stayed in the market for only small time. Immediately people started looking for nanotechnology. In business, the other day I was giving a lecture on the ChatGPT applications for the transportation company, the logistics company, how can be modernized by ChatGPT. Today we have got all those distribution system, packaging, blockchain, and security matters, cyber security, social implications and ethical implications has to be re-looked at it because security is a big concern. Collaborating different disciplines, let it be biology cannot be done without computers today. Education and skill development has to be revamped. I don't think there is no point in calling new education policy because the new becomes old very fast. Therefore, unless a teacher is so creative and active, what is being done from young to old makes no lot of difference. Next week I am going to be in Delhi for 3 days or 4 days training early childhood education, the kindergarten, age 3 to grade 3. How we can use all the technologies today available for educating the young. I don't call them tiny tots, I call them tech tots. I have written a book of 600 pages on how to implement or maybe how to look at education in the changed scenario where our children become tech tots, not tiny tots no more. They are not tiny, they are too technical than any of us. The impact on society, the future perspective in which we have to look at what the world around, what's going to happen, the engineering innovations, building a new resilient world in new infrastructure, the smart city. The other day, the World Environment Day, I call it World Environment Day, WED 2023. If you look at WED 23, DrTPS, you will see me explaining the great city which is a corridor which is going to get created in Saudi Arabia. The water purification process, not only it supplies an eco-friendly life, it's a smart city, renewable energy, water management, disaster response, sustainable agriculture, biotechnology, healthcare infrastructure, communication network, everything in a long corridor in a world where total desert, Saudi Arabia. If you have money, you can create a world of yourself. That's what they are going to show to the world. The project is just 20 years to wait for the reality people to see. The green building design, the material innovation, the energy storage, the supply chain optimization, the security pattern like cyber security, everything can be seen. Is it not the most best resilient world which you are going to see? I think on this Engineers Day we must be proud enough to say that in Asia, where a lot of people from India working behind that world, and that community lives, I'm sure they are going to get educated in a different style. It's no more going to be in the same style. The interdisciplinary collaboration, the ethical consideration, the framework in which the regulatory rules, the law has to be changed because it's a world of itself in a different style. The community engagement, the dealing, the culture, everything will change. The innovation is not what you make it today. It's going to be everyday affair. So, the Internet of Things, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, the fourth industrial revolution, 5G, connectivity, the driving force behind all these is only one, that's innovation. How are you going to see this together? How can you connect them together in a way that people can't even imagine how the disaster response will happen, where connectivity will happen so well. How the sensors are going to provide the warning system when an accident happens. Is it the way that going to happen today? The speed in which, the swift in which the decision making happens, how the Internet of Things will work, how to describe the augmented reality in a technology world where the digital information and the physical world, how is it going to interact? What will be the perception of the human being who are going to be around? It's easy to talk about cutting edge technology, but how is that the people who are around going to take this, either the old or the young? I keep saying people like me who took birth in the BC, before computers. It may be very easy for people who are in the digital world of today, or the after digital, I call them as AD. So A, B, C, D. The BC, we are in the between the AD. We are being jammed or packed with the AD people after digital. So I don't change. The before computer people don't change. It becomes unfit for me to survive in this world. So the real-time integration, the hardware devices which is coming, the understanding of the world around me, the information which I have to process, the training and education which I can make things happen very fast, the navigation and the wayfinding methodology of aircraft. If you look at the number of aircraft which lands in a very huge airport, you can imagine how the traffic system is being controlled. It's not in a planar mode. It's in a three-dimensional world. You can see one aircraft under that another aircraft, above that another aircraft. Everything is being controlled and designed. The gap between the landing is less than 1 minute. A small error can make a lot of havoc. The enhanced information control systems, the navigation and wayfinding, the assistance which not directly touching and feeling, it's a remote assistance. And I don't know how many of you have played the video games. The gaming and the entertainment methodology, if you look at it, the speed in which the kids play with the game, in the same speed, you can imagine the aircraft landing, taking off, everything happens like a war field. The real physical civilian life has become a real war field of informations today. Visualization. What a huge constructions of bridges. When we had Konkan Railway connecting Pune, Bombay, Kerala, it was a great wonder. But today we are able to, our military people, the railway people are able to connect the mountain regions in the Himalayas with a huge rail pattern. The architecture visualization, what Dubai has made, the city is made inside the water. The landing of the aircraft is in the sea. Island to island is connected under bridge. The fast moving highways. I was talking about the ChatGPT applications in the logistics, retail and marketing, healthcare. Accessibility has become so fast. Everything is our fingerprint. We never had a imagination of how in a remote village, when I was doing my master's, electricity came to my village. Telephone came and I was doing my PhD. Today, we are able to get everything from any part of the world through delivery systems. Everything is online. I'm sure a day will come. Now the online Amazon supply in America is through drone controlled, navigated through drones. The reduced downtime when anything has to be maintained, the remote maintenance. Earlier people have to come and then set you and then set. Now a technical person who can maintain things don't have to travel large distances, because he being an individual on call basis, many companies connect to an expert who may maintain different washing machines. I am not an employee of one company. I am a consultant for 10 companies where my computer decides my schedule. The call comes, my scheduling is done, I'll finish my job, set things right. Every spare part which I need, I don't have to collect it from my boss, I don't have to collect it my store. I can just say and then fill my app that this testing is also done through machines. It's all the, I don't have to find out which spare part of the car went wrong. Automatically when I connect my laptop with the application for diagnosing, automatically it understands this is what went wrong. The order from that location goes to the company and the item comes to me. When the item comes, I get a message, and this maintenance person can go and then repair it. Or maybe the owner himself can replace it. Cost saving, real-time monitoring, experience of the global experience, the reduced time, availability of expert at the right time in the right place, the training and the simulation, everything can be seen. I don't have to know carpentry, but I have got a video which shows how carpentry. I'm sure everybody is using YouTube for learning cooking now. The safer knowledge transfer happens through digital media. Documentation and records become so easy. This lecture is being recorded and tomorrow everybody can listen to this. The scalability, repeatability. I can pause and then stop and then listen to that. I remember 17 years back when I wrote a book on adaptive learning were e-web net learning pedagogies and practices for in the teaching class how you can use the internet. People laughed at me saying, who is going to use this? Professor COVID in 3 years made all that available at every point. Even today we are talking about the webinar discussions on which I wrote a book 17 years back. People were looking at and saying education is not required. Now the advantage is the scalability. I can give a talk and then it can repeat it many different number of places. Environmental benefits. I don't have to travel long. So the mobility becomes, most of the companies don't work in the offices today. They work from home. During the COVID time I was mentioning that no, we need not work from home. We have to work from farm. So that I can be a farmer and parallelly I can be a technocrat who is working for a company somewhere else. So that my sustainability awareness becomes more and more. There is no point in talking about farming where I don't become part of it. There are two beautiful movies which came. The Seaspiracy and Cowspiracy. If you have not seen, must see that. It's a must-see movie. In which, what is sustainability? Whenever there is a call for development, I am sure there is an exploitation as part of it. If we don't lift them up, the world is not going to be no more sustainable. Only very few rich and the rest of the people will become poor. Development is always like that, making imbalance. Unless we seriously think about sustainability. It is not learning about all the principles of SDG and giving lecture and webinar. Making it practicable in your land, surrounded by you, giving resources allocation, communicating with them, coordinating with them, understanding what is that required, create a lot of models of integration, resources available, demand, supply and demand. I remember T.N. Session wrote a beautiful book about India as his dream, in which he mentioned we don't want nuclear energy, we want how to preserve tomato for a few days. The common man requires that. So I am sure we need a real expert who will work for looking at what people need. Lokanam upakaraya etat sarvam pradarshanam. That's where we started. We have got expertise in different part of the world. When a disaster happens, we cannot stop it. Disaster management is only after disaster what is required. The post-disaster. It's not assessment alone, how much is lost. How do you make them feel comfortable the sooner and the faster? How do you engage community? How do you make them accessible to medical, all the facilities what is required for them, including data connection, including the electricity, everything has to be set very fast. How do we do that? We need a great analysis system. Similarly, when we talk about processing, making a productive activity, definitely what is required after such an instance, what is going to happen. There is a predictive analysis. I remember teaching in the MBA classes when I was a professor of management. the predictive analysis, the data collection, aggregating together. There are a lot of misinterpreted data, maybe pre-processing of cleaning of the data, understand the specific pattern in which it goes, then use it with a predictive analysis and get that into the people who really require it in the right place at the right time. Usability of them, understand the time importance, in which time. The project management department where I work in department of space, the program planning and project management, very important, the time series analysis, the recommendation systems. It can be in the space or it can be in the industry, it can be in the healthcare, the food system, financial. We keep saying about every industry, people should know 5M: man, money, mission, market, and material. Everywhere we will see how the data is to be controlled, how money has to be controlled, the supply chain optimization, the energy efficiency, the quality control, the environment related one, the traffic management. Now all these are very simple and easier because artificial intelligence gives solution to most of the modeling. Therefore the disaster management, the climate modeling, everything is done through artificial intelligence. I don't know how many of our teachers, how many of your engineers, how many in the lower level, maybe remote engineering, maybe some people who conduct seminars and webinars and then talk to them, it's all available, but it's not penetrated in the every part of India. Probably 20% know this. 80% of the so-called professionals still must have heard these words, but they did not understand what really it means. We need to improve the understanding. We have got a lot of weather forecasting, but you can see the disaster happens still because we know these words, but practically the extreme event prediction happens, the climate change analysis happens, the disaster creates so much of havoc because we are not able to understand, optimize, make it faster, around which the people are living so that they don't suffer tomorrow. It could be a disaster prediction response. It could be anything that is related to the contribution in the forecasting, the adaptability of people who wanted to understand this. Therefore, the education is what is the core important factor in which people can understand clearly. The fourth industrial revolution the business world talks about today, the internet of things what people talk about today, unless and until the real people on the ground understand, we cannot create a smart city without a smart people. It's like I have got a smartphone which I did not use or I did not understand 80% of its usability. Unless education and the development happens in the grassroots level, most of the automation doesn't give its purposes. The flexibility doesn't happen. See, for example, we have 3D printing, prototyping, customization, the complex geometries can be printed. But how many people are effectively using it? Still, 99% of the production companies have not adapted to that. If that can be adapted, the economy in which we are dreaming a high economic, we wanted to be in the 3 world club, maybe the 2 world club tomorrow. We want to compete with the highest developed nation in the world. It happens only when academicians, educators, these sort of programs wherein we are going to take it to the public. There is a lot of responsibility for the NGOs, clubs, the students who they learn the syllabus and subject not enough. The cross-cutting edge technology synergized with all these great developments around them has to, it may not come in the syllabus, but are we able to learn them as part of our extracurricular activities? Earlier extracurricular activities were cultural programs and sports, etc., but I am sure today the extracurricular activity is using the technology in the right way. There are a lot of hazards if you don't understand it. You can see how internet has been, many people keep still saying that no, you should not use internet, you should not use, it is hazardous, the privacy will go, there is a lot of manipulation happening, the security is not correct. So all this has to be addressed thoroughly, otherwise in a system where we have got a cultural, social, family bondage, people don't accept it that well. So technology cannot penetrate in everybody's life if you don't change the culture. So regulation, compliance and responsibility on the citizens part of it to understand. That's where the education and social responsibility, the environmental considerations, the educational development. Therefore, we have a diverse perspective, very focused applications with a holistic problem solving innovation in the real applications where people wanted to look at it. That's what I call it as responsible innovation. That's what I call it as resilient world, how development can take place. Our topic is very, very thoughtfully given to me to talk. It's not sustainable development. In a resilient world, how the development of science and technology can be really used. We have to look at case studies. How early warning system has happened, how the flood resilience has happened, how the earthquake resilient building constructions can be made into practice, how healthcare telemedicines, low cost medicinal devices are being served, AI based diagnostics, how well we can utilize it. One of the greatest concern in the COVID time, what I was focusing was agriculture. How the precision farming, how the drought resistant crops can be, like millet is being popularized. How and why millet can be popularized instead of rice and wheat. How a better production of farm products which makes our agricultural farmers really richer. 80% of India will become rich if we know farming. And we have a great scope because the other part of the world where great food supply is being done is in war today. As a national policy, we have to have the smart geopolitical strategies. Smart irrigation so that we can preserve water. The weather forecasting has to be good, otherwise my crops will not become that rich. The digital green, the Arogya world, the Swasth Foundation, Akshaya Patra Foundation, the Velo, the Bhumi, what is that? Nyonika charitable programs, ISRO, what is being done for the disaster management. All these have to be studied, and then I think people, the young people should take it as project and then work along with them. Money is not a problem, project is not a problem, it's only the attitude change, opportunities are plenty, skill is wonderfully with every one of us. Therefore, the future prospectus in the challenging world with all the threats and the privacy concern which we have and the digital divides, if we cannot cross it, the educational inequality cannot be modified or maybe slightly improved. The government initiatives and the corporate and the NGO efforts together, the education awareness, the regulations and compliance, the technology innovations, the global collaboration, everything can be in a place. I am sure India will be the most powerful country in the world. The ethical safeguard, data privacy protections, everything has to be clearly understood. Incorporability, inoperability, connections and communications, and I am sure today's world is just connecting to people. I am seeing in front of me people who are not connected to me. But maybe we can connect very fast because my name is there, DrTPS, Balasubbareddy. So I can just Google and find out what is his telephone number, talk to him, understand more and more. The world is rich enough with a lot of accessibility and connectivity. The success is only for those people who get connected. With some connection somewhere I am being called here for a lecture. This is an opportunity for somebody else to connect, relate each other. This connectivity is what? There is a great mathematical problem which is in the graph theory, which says anybody in the world I can connect if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth node will be where I wanted to get connected. The world is so well connected. It's so easy for anybody to reach anybody in the world. Even if I have no connection to him, easily I can find some connections. Otherwise, you have a 5G connection, but we don't connect to anybody. We have a fourth industrial revolution where we don't connect to people. The artificial intelligence, augmented reality, Internet of Things, everything is there, but I don't connect to public, people to people. We are all basically social being social. We are all human being human. Otherwise, we will be living in a world of virtual reality and forgetting about the real world. It shouldn't happen. The resilient world is where we use the most advanced technology but live in the grassroots. Put your feet on the ground and jump to the highest. Get back to the ground, jump to the highest. Get back to the ground, jump to the highest. Always identify your own roots. Going back to roots, maintain the culture, maintain the tradition, understand the heritage, understand our mother tongue, understand our father tongue, understand my community tongue, social tongue, neighbor's tongue. But beyond that, understand the international world language. This is what is required. This is the message which I wanted to tell all of you. Continue research, continue innovation, continue collaboration, connect to people, build a more and more resilient world in the fast-paced third decade of 21st century. Pranams and Namaskaram. Thank you ISTEM for hosting me today on a great day of Engineers Day. I am so blessed, thankful to each one of you who are listening to me. Thank you Pooja for hosting and being kind and supportive all through this program. I thank you my friends who connected me and then put me onto this stage. Pranams and Namaskaram to all of you.
So we would like to thank you and we look forward to see you in more sessions where we can talk very
I think it's all because of Senthil, and then I must thank my brother Senthil for connecting me to all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and definitely